gonna do is, we're just coming out of this back pocket. I fish, here's the only thing I do that's out of the box, which most people don't, most fishermen don't, is there's a lot of guys who fish with the wind to their face. They'll get out there, they'll get on the trolling motor, they're gonna try their hardest to throw into the wind, make a good cast, which is hard, backlashes, the whole thing. I love throwing my bait with the wind, 2 points. Now, even though you guys might be thinking I'm fishing, I'm out here in 40 foot of water, I'm technically gonna be fishing uphill on that first cast because I gotta turn the boat around a little bit so we don't get blown out. I was testing. I'm fishing actually uphill on this because I'm throwing over the point and I'm bringing the bait up and over this point and then back down into open water. And the biggest thing on this, pre and post spawn, it's all about timing. There's gonna be something where, and you gotta really pay attention. You're gonna throw out, you're gonna rip a bait, and some guys are really quick rip bait fishermen. They rip, pop, reel, rip, pop. And when you're doing that, you're really gonna work that upper water column. The upper water column, even though I'm fishing out into open water after I get past this point, I'm still fishing uphill because the surface of the air is uphill. You're pulling fish from a deeper stature in the water, deeper area in the middle or bottom column, and you bringing them up. So you're actually fishing uphill in that, and that's the only way. That's a little bit of a twist what most people would think, but it has a big factor. And your ambush spot, the dinner plate that they'd commit on, is your boat. So when you fish these baits, or any bait, make sure you fish it all the way to the rod tip, because you're gonna have fish come right up at the boat, even in open water, that'll commit on it. Now, when I'm testing the waters, I always there's two things. If I'm throwing top water and I got a floater on, I go dead slow. And we've already discussed this. It's in some of the vlogs that Tackle Warehouse already has up over at Diamond Valley. But when I'm doing a rip bait technique, I like trying to do the rip bait a little bit quicker just to see if the activity level is faster. If I rip it, let it sit, rip it, and I start getting hit real quick, I know that I can jump these spots a lot quicker on the first good spot I come to, if it's a good main outline, out point off a main lake, and there's bait fish around it and there's the wind blowing on it. If there's fish there and they're active, they're gonna chew pretty quick. If I come to the first one and nothing's happening, man, that's where you're gonna see me put the brakes on really quick, and I'm gonna twitch and stop and just let that thing sit there. Now, remember this bait, the 6-inch, depending on the line size and stuff, you're gonna get about a foot every 3 seconds. And I'm gonna pop it and I'm gonna actually let it drop about a foot or two and start trying to test the deeper depths down there. Spotted bass, from what I understand, because I don't fish a lot of them, but bass are bass, they do like more open water. Man, you can get them out there in 30, 40, 50 foot of water. So it's not a big problem for me to let this bait drop for 15, 20, 30 seconds and get it down in 10, 15 foot level, because in 10, 20 foot visibility, man, those big spots are gonna see it down there. So I'm gonna slow down and I'm just gonna start testing it. The other big thing is watching your graph. Outside point rip baits, if you can find the points that the blueback herring, the trout are on, the gizzard shad, threadfin, and you see the bait fish and then you see the fish on it, I mean, that's just bonus. That's just putting that onion effect, the layering, to really start breaking down the water column and figuring out what's going on. And when you do that, I'm telling you, things are gonna happen a lot quicker. You're gonna be able to pattern things a lot quicker. And then it's just time on the water, finding the right areas. Like I said, I've never been here before, so to try to break down a lake in a couple hours is pretty hard, but it's not if you go back to the basics. I'm fishing points, creek channels, humps, ridges, and flats. So I'm gonna fish all the outside points, and if we go across the lake and I see a little island out there with 2 buoys on it, you bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna stop and throw over the edge of that a couple times until I run across to the other point. And that's how I try to break down a lake pretty quick. And then the fish are gonna dictate to me, with their aggressiveness and how fast and how far I move into the coves. But like I said, the weather's picking up again, so the perfect time. This is a great time to start testing these pre and post spawn fish out here on the main lakes. Yeah, I gotta give shout out over to Bass Cat. I was at the fire department, you know, Spro called up, say, hey, you want to go do a writers conference up on Lake Lanier? And I'm like, absolutely. I only have a couple days off. I can't get my Bass Cat up there. What can I do? So I called Rick Pierce up. The guy had him, one of his buddies, drive out his personal boat, Rick's boat, out here. I don't know how many miles it is from Arkansas mountain home, but it's got to be a 12-hour drive. And when I got off the plane and showed up here at Lake Lanier at the lodge, the boat's sitting in the parking lot. So, and they're going to come back and pick it up, which is just phenomenal. It just shows, you know, the class and the type of people nowadays in the industry that are still striving and doing a good job, what they do to keep us all fishing. So definitely a shout out to Rick. Wind just started picking up and came back in a pocket, just ripping the 6-inch, and that thing come up and clobbered it. Let's see how big it is. It's not that big. Oh, maybe so. Look at that donkey.